Certainly one of the most exciting and most anticipated announcements here at Photokina has been the G1 from Panasonic, which is the first micro four thirds camera. I'm here with Mr. Shinobu Fusa, who is the General Manager of Product Planning, and he's really the father of the G1. He's going to tell us a little bit about the background and what led to this camera. And as we'll see, this is actually a vision that Panasonic has had from the very beginning of their entry to the SLR marketplace. So, Mr. Fusa-san, could you tell us a little bit about what led to the development of this and what was your vision for this product from the beginning?
So the original concept of the G was developed from the digital compact cameras. You have a lot of users who are beginning to use live view, finding photography very easy because of the new way of viewing images. From there, however, different from the compact cameras are the SLRs. And for instance, for SLRs like the current models on the market, they are somewhat heavier and bulkier and quite difficult to carry around with them. And so what we had envisioned was to create a model that will fit right in between the compact segment and the DSLR segment. A camera that is easy and lightweight, and also that is very simple so that any of the camera users can easily step up from the compact to our new generation system camera.
Well, there certainly is a huge difference in size between these cameras, and the L10 is not an especially large SLR as they go, but the comparison to the G1, you can see it's a really dramatic difference. And the body is noticeably smaller, but the lens is what's so dramatic. And we'll talk a little bit about that in a few moments about what allows the lens to be made so much smaller on the G1. But the combination of lens and body is much smaller than what people are accustomed to with SLRs currently. And as you say too, you've also tried to focus on the ease of use, so this is a very easy camera to use for someone stepping up from a point and shoot. You shared with me just how long this camera has been a vision for Panasonic. You might share that with our readers. I think people don't realize for a company like Panasonic how long these developments take and how long a vision must be maintained.
So the original concept of creating a system camera, this new hybrid, began 4 years ago. However, we started off this system by going into a joint cooperation with Olympus for the 4/3 system. And 2 years ago, when we introduced our first digital SLR, the L1, from there we already knew where we were going, and we already drew up mock-ups of what we were going to do, which is what you see right here at the G1.
So now, switching gears a little bit, let's talk about some of the technology in the G1 and what it took to bring it to market. There's some unique advancements in a few areas here having to do with autofocus speed and also the very sophisticated electronic viewfinder. So now I'm with Mr. Yoshiyuki Inoue, who is a senior product planner for the G series, the G1 being the first one in that line. So Mr. Inoue, maybe you can share with us some of the developments. Maybe start out with what allowed you to shrink the lens size so much, and then we can talk about autofocus. So what led to this overall reduction in size?
The original concept of how to make the body smaller was removing the mirror box altogether, and this is the concept of the micro four thirds standard. We are now able to reduce the flange back by approximately 50%. In addition, we were able to shrink the size of the lens mount to create lenses that are much more compact and lightweight.
But now micro four thirds is still a 4/3 camera. You still have compatibility with some of the older lenses, is that correct?
So in order to ensure compatibility with the original 4/3 format, we have created a new lens mount adapter, to allow the original users of the 4/3 system to be able to use their 4/3 lenses on our G1 compact camera.
It's now important for our readers to understand that existing 4/3 lenses aren't as fast as the new micro 4/3, so contrast detect may not work on some lenses, but still they're usable on the camera because the camera will tell the user when it's in focus, and there's a very good manual focus aid. Is that pretty much true then, that some lenses will work and some won't?
Although some of the 4/3 lenses on the market do not support contrast AF, can only use manual focus, however, we do have a manual assist function that can allow users to easily ensure that their objects are in focus through not only the LCD screen, but also through the viewfinder. In addition, in the future, we believe that there will be further firmware updates to ensure that the current existing lenses will also be compatible with the micro 4/3.
So obviously one of the big changes with the G1 with no mirror box is you have to use contrast detect autofocus. That's always been very slow, but the G1 is surprisingly fast. What were the advancements, what breakthroughs did you make to make contrast detect autofocus so fast?
There are now 2 extra pins on the new micro 4/3 standard. One of those pins is a dedicated pin for communication of the movement signals between the body and the lens. And as a result, the lens can move very quickly in order to ensure the contrast autofocus. With the new sensor, we were able to read out data much more quickly to achieve the 60 frames per second full-time live view. This data is then passed on to our new Venus Engine HD, which then processes all of this data with its new dual-core processor to allow the computation of the lens. The lens structure of the new G system is that the autofocus unit is extremely compact and light. This allows the autofocus unit to move very quickly to ensure contrast AF to achieve high speeds.
Well, so that's the lens and the autofocus, and the other key technology here is the electronic viewfinder, which is really unusual. What can you tell us about the nature of the electronic viewfinder that's different from what we might have seen in other cameras?
The new electronic viewfinder, or the live viewfinder that we call it, is actually adopted from Panasonic's professional HD system camcorders, which we recently used in the Olympics. This is the first time that the LCOS technology, liquid crystal on silicon technology, is adopted in consumer products. The G1 now has an extremely beautiful live viewfinder, which has 1.44 million dot equivalent resolution, in addition to 100% field of view and 1.4 times magnification.
Well, this is certainly an eagerly anticipated product. I shot with it at the press event the other day and was really very impressed with how responsive it was. And I know a lot of our readers are going to be eager to get their hands on one. How soon will this be coming to the U.S. market? When can our readers buy them in the camera stores?
This camera will be shipped out at the end of October. I believe it will be available in stores at the beginning of November. So please hold high anticipations for this good product. Thank you very much.
Mr. Inoue-san, thank you very much. Mr. Fusa-san, thank you. And readers, stay tuned. We'll have a full report and full test results as soon as we can get our hands on a production model.